This is question number 13. How can there be a connection between the self, which is pure knowledge, and the triple factor, which are a relative knowledge? This is in a way like the working of a cinema as shown below. Cinema show and right side is self. Number one, the lamp inside, that is the apparatus, and self, the self. Number one on the this below self. Left side, cinema show. Second point, the lens is front of the lamp. Self. Second point below it, the pure sattvic mind close to the self. Third point below cinema show, the film which is a long series of separate photos. Third point below self, the stream of latent tendencies consisting of subtle thoughts. Fourth point, the lens, the light passing through it, and the lamp which together form the focused light. Below self, fourth point, the mind, the illumination of it, and the self which together form the sphere of the individual self. Fifth point on below cinema show, the light passing through the lens and the falling on the screen. Fifth point is below self, the light of the self emerging from the mind through the senses and falling on the world. Sixth point below cinema show. Sixth point, the various kinds of pictures appearing in the light of the screen. Sixth point below self, the various forms and names appearing on as the objects perceived in the light of the world. Seventh point below cinema show, the mechanism which sets the film in motion. And seventh point below self, the divine law manifesting the latent tendency of the mind. Just as the picture appear on the screen as long as the film throws the shadow through the lens, so the phenomenal world will continue to appear to be individual in the waking and dreaming states as long as there are latent mental impressions. Just as the lens magnifies the tiny specks on the film to a huge size and as a number of pictures are shown in a second. So the mind enlarges the sprouting tendencies into tree-like thoughts and shows in a second innumerable worlds. Again, just as there is only the light and lamp visible when there is no film, so the self alone shines without the triple factors when the mental concepts in the form of tendencies are absent in the states of deep sleep, soon and samadhi, just as the lamp illumines the lens while remaining unaffected, the self illumines the ego while remaining unaffected. Question number 14. What is dhyana meditation? It is abiding as one's self without swerving in any way from one's real nature and without feeling that one is meditating, as one is not in the least conscious of the different states, waking, dreaming, etc. In this condition, the sleep noticeable here is also regarded as dhyana. Question number 15. What is the difference between between dhyana and samadhi? Dhyana is achieved through deliberate mental effort. In samadhi, there is no such effort. Actually, there is no mind. That is the actual meaning. There is only self. Question number 16. What are the factors to be kept in view in dhyana? Maharshi replies, it is important for one who is established in his self to see that he does not swerve in the least from this absorption. By swerving from his true nature, he may see before him bright effulgence or hear unusual source or regard as real the visions of God appearing within or outside himself. He should not be deceived by these and forgets himself. What are the rules of conduct which an aspirant should follow? Moderation is in food, moderation in sleep, and moderation in speech. Question number 18. How long should one practice? Maharshi replies, until the mind attains effortlessly in natural state of freedom from concepts, that is till the sense I and mine exist no longer. Question number 19. What is the meaning of dwelling in solitude? Mercy replies, as the self is all pervasive, it has no particular place or solitude. The state of being free from mental concepts is called dwelling in solitude. Question number 20. What is the sign of wisdom? In its beauty lies in remaining free from delusion after realizing the truth once. There is fear only for one who sees at least a slight difference in the supreme reality. So long as there is the idea that the body is the self, one cannot be realizer of truth, whoever he might be. Question number 21. If everything happens according to karma, how is one to overcome the obstacles to meditation? Mercy replies, Prarabdha is that portion of the past karma which is responsible for the present body and concerns only the outturned, not the interned mind. One who seeks his real self will not be afraid of any obstacle. Question number 22. Is asceticism, ascet, asceticism means says like a person who is sadhu, says like, or we call sannyasi. One of the essential requisites for a person to become established in the self. Mercy replies, the effort that is made to get rid of attachment to one's body is really towards abiding in the self. Maturity of thought and enquiry alone removes attachment to the body, not the stations of life ashramas, such as student, brahmachari, etc. For the attachment is in the mind, while the stations pertain to the body. How can bodily stations remove the attachment in the mind as maturity of thought and enquiry pertain to the mind? These alone can, by enquiry on the part of the same mind, remove the attachments which have crept into it through thoughtfulness. But as the discipline of asceticism is the means for attaining dispassion, and as dispassion is the means for enquiry, joining an order of ascetics may be regarded in a way as a means of enquiry through dispassion. Instead of wasting one's life by entering the order of ascetics before one is fit for it, it is better to live the householder's life. In order to fix the mind in the self, which is its true nature, it is necessary to separate it from the family of fancies and doubts. That is, to renounce the family samsara in the mind. This is the real asceticism. Question number 23. It is an established rule that so long as there is the least idea of I am the doer, self knowledge cannot be attained. But is it possible for an aspirant who is householder to discharge his duties properly without this sense? as there is no rule that Mercy replies, as there is no rule that action should depend upon a sense of being the doer, it is unnecessary to doubt whether any action will take place without a doer or an act of doing. Although the officer of a government treasury may appear in the eyes of others to be doing his duty attentively and responsibly all day long, he will be discharging his duty without attachment, thinking I have no real connection with all this money, and without a sense of involvement in his mind. In the same manner, a wise householder may also discharge without attachment the various household duties which fall to his lot according to his past karma, like a tool in the hands of another. Action and knowledge are not obstacle to each other. Question number 24. Of what use it to of what use to his family is a wise householder who is unmindful of his bodily comforts, and of what use is his family to him? Mercy, although he is entirely unmindful of his bodily comforts, if, owing to his past karma, his family have to subsist by his efforts, he may be regarded as doing service to others. If it is asked whether the wise man derives any benefit from the discharge of domestic duties, it may be answered that as he has already attained the state of complete satisfaction, which is the sum total of all benefits and is the highest good of all, he does not stand to gain anything more by discharging family duties. Question number 25. How can an cessation of activity and peace of mind be attained in the midst of household duty which is are of the nature of constant activity? Maharshi replies, as the activities of the wise man exist only in the eyes of others and not in his own, although he may be accomplishing immense tasks, he really does nothing. Therefore, his activities do not stand in the way of inaction and peace of mind, for he knows truth that all activities take place in his mere presence and that he does nothing. Hence, he will remain as the silent witness of all activities taking place. Question number 26. Just as the sage's past karma is the cause of his present activities, will not the impression, that is vasanas, caused by his present activities adhere to him in future? Mercy only. Mercy reply. Only one who is free from all the latent tendency is a sage. That being so, how can the tendencies of karma affect him who is entirely unattached to activities? Number 27, question number 27. What is the meaning of brahmacharya? Maharshi reply. Only inquiry into reality, Brahma, should be called brahmacharya. Question number 28. Will the practice of brahmacharya, which is followed in conformity with the four orders of the life, student life, household life, retired life, and renounced life, be means of that is as per Hindu tradition, there are four varnas. Now, this life of a person is divided into four parts of 25 years each. Maharshi reply, as the various means of knowledge such as control of sense, etc., are included in brahmacharya, the various practices duly followed by those who belong to the order of students, brahmacharyans, are very helpful for their improvement. Question number 29. Can one enter the order of ascetics, sannyasi, directly from the order of student of brahmacharya? Maharshi replies, those who are competent need not formally enter the order of brahmachari, etc. The order laid down. One who has realized his self does not distinguish between the various orders of life. Therefore, no order of life either helps or hinders him. Question number 30. Does an aspirant lose anything by not observing the rule of caste and orders of life? Maharshi replies, as the attainment of practice of knowledge is the supreme end of all other practices, there is no rule that one who remains in any one order of life constantly acquires knowledge is bound to follow the rules laid down for the order of life. If he follows the rules of caste and orders of life, he does not so for the good of the world. He does not derive any benefit by observing the rules, nor does he lose anything by not observing the rules. Next is experience. Under this heading, first question. What is the light of consciousness? Mercy replies. It is the self-luminous existence consciousness which reveals to the seer the world of names and forms both inside and outside. The existence of this existence consciousness can be inferred by the objects illuminated by it. It does not become the object of consciousness. Question number 2. What is knowledge? Vijnana. Mercy reply. It is the tranquil state of existence consciousness which is experienced by the aspirant and which is like the waveless ocean or the motionless either. Question number 3. What is bliss? It is the experience of joy or peace in the state of vijnana free of all activities and similar to deep sleep. This is also called the state of kevala nirvikalpa, remaining without concept. Number 4. Question number 4. What is the state beyond bliss? Mercy reply. It is the state of unceasing peace of mind which is found in the state of absolute quiescence, Jagrit, Susupti, sleep without awareness, which resembles inactivity, deep sleep in the state. In spite of the activity of body and senses, there is no external awareness like a child immersed in sleep who is not conscious of the food given to him by his mother. A yogi who is in this state is inactive even while engaged in activity. This is also called Sahaja Nirvikalpa Samadhi, natural state of absorption in one's self without concept. Question number 5. What is the authority for saying that the entire moving and unmoving worlds depend upon one's self? Mercy replied, the self means the embodied being. It is only after the energy, which was latent in the state of deep sleep, emerges with the idea of I that all objects are experienced. The self is present in all perceptions as the perceiver. There are no objects to be seen when the eye is absent. For all these reasons, it may undoubtedly be said that everything comes out of the self and goes back to the self. Question number 6. As the bodies and the selves animating them are everywhere, actually observing to be innumerable, how can it be said the self is only one? Mercy replies, if the idea I am the body is accepted, the selves are multiple. The state in which this idea vanishes is the self, since in that state there are no other object. It is for this reason that self is regarded as only one. Question number 7. What is the authority for saying that reality can be apprehended by the mind and at the same time that cannot be apprehended by the mind? Mercy replies, it cannot be apprehended by the impure mind but can be apprehended by the pure mind. Question number 8. What is pure mind and what is impure mind? When the indefinable power of reality separates itself from reality and in union with the reflection of consciousness, assumes various forms, it is called the impure mind. When it becomes free from the reflection of consciousness through discrimination, it is called the pure mind. Its state of union with the reality is its apprehension of reality. The energy which is accompanied by the reflection of consciousness is called the impure mind, and its state of separation from reality is its non-apprehension of reality. Question number 9. Is it possible to overcome even while body exists the karma as prarabdha, which is said to last till the end of the body? Maharshi reply, yes. If the agent, doer, upon whom the karma depends, namely the ego, which has come into existence between the body and the self, merges in its source and loses its forms, will the karma which depend upon it alone survive? Therefore, when there is no I, there is no karma. Question number 10. As the self existence and consciousness, what is the reason for describing it as different from the existence and non existent, the sentient and insentient? Mercy reply, although the self is real, it is as it comprises everything, it does not give room for question involving duality without its reality or unreality. Therefore, it is said to be different from the real and unreal. Similarly, even though it is consciousness, since there is nothing for it to know or make itself known to, it is said to be different from the sentient and insentient. Now, next is attainment. Question number 1. What is the state of attainment of knowledge? Mercy reply. It is the firm and effortless abidance in the self in which the mind which has become one with the self does not subsequently emerge again at any time. That is just as everything usually and naturally has the idea I am not a goat nor a cow nor any other animal but a man. When he thinks of his body, so also when he has the idea I am not the principal beginning with the body and ending with the sound, but the self which is existence, consciousness, and bliss. The innate self consciousness he is said to have attained firm knowledge. Question number 2. To which of the seven stages of knowledge, Sapta Bhumikas, does the sage belong? He belongs to the fourth stage. Mercy reply. He belongs to the fourth stage. The seven Jnana Bhumikas are: number 1, Subhecha, the desire for enlightenment. Second, Vicharna, that is inquiry. Number 3, Tanumansa, tenuous mind. Fourth, Sattvapati, self-realization. Sattvapati, that is self-realization. Fifth, Amsakti, Asam Sakti, non-attachment. Sixth, Padartha Bhavana, non-perception of objects. And seventh is Turiyaga, transcendence, means leaving everything behind and going beyond everything. Number Question number 3. If there is so, why have three more stages superior to it been distinguished? Maharshi replies, the marks of the stages 4 to 7 are based upon the experience of the realized person. They are not state of knowledge and release. So far as the knowledge and release are concerned, no distinction whatsoever is made in these four stages. Those who have attained the last four bhumikas are called Brahmavid, Brahmavidvara, Brahmavidvarya, and Brahmavid Varishta, respectively. Question number 4. As liberation is common to all, why is the Varishta the most excellent alone praised excessively? Mercy replies, so far as the Varishta common experience of bliss is concerned, He is extolled only because of the special merit acquired by him in his previous births, which is the cause of it. Question number 5. As there is no one who does not desire to experience constant bliss, what is the reason why all sages do not attain the state of Vrishta? Mercy replies, it is not to be attained by mere desire or effort, karma. Prarabdha is its cause, as the ego dies along with its cause even in the fourth stage, bhumika. What isn't is there beyond that stage to desire anything or make efforts? So long as they make efforts, they will not be sages. Do the sacred text which specially mention the Varishta say that other three are unenlightened, unenlightened persons? Question number 6. As some sacred texts say that the supreme state is that in which the sense organs and the mind are completely destroyed, how can that state be compatible with the experience of the body and the senses? Maharshi replies, if that were so, there would not be any difference between that state and the state of deep sleep. Further, how can it be said to be the natural state when it exists at one time and not at another? This happens as stated before to some persons according to their karma for some time or till death. It cannot properly be regarded as the final state. If it could be, if it would mean that all great souls and the Lord who were the authors of the Vedantic works and the Vedas were unenlightened persons. If the supreme state is that in which neither the senses nor the mind exist and not the state in which they exist, how can it be the perfect state, Paripurnama? As karma alone is responsible for the activity or inactivity of the sages, great souls have declared the natural state without concept sahaja nirvikalpa alone to be the ultimate state. Question number 7. What is the difference between ordinary sleep and the waking sleep? Jagrita Susupti. Mercy replies, in ordinary sleep, there are not only no thought but also no awareness. In waking sleep, there is awareness alone. That's why it is called awake while sleeping. That is the sleep in which there is awareness. Question number 8. Why is the self described both as the fourth state, Turiya, and beyond the fourth state, Turiyatita? Mercy replies, Turiya means that which is the fourth. The experience of the three states of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, known as Viswa, Tejasa, and Prajna, who wander successively in these three states, are not the self. It is with the object of making this clear, namely that the self is that which is different from them and which is the witness of these states, that is called the fourth. When this is known, the three experiencers disappear, and the idea that self is a witness, that is the fourth, also disappear. That is why the self is described as beyond the fourth. Question number 9. What is the benefit derived by the sage from the sacred books? Mercy replies, the sage who is the embodiment of the truth mentioned in the scriptures has no use for them. Question number 10. Is there any connection between the attainment of supernatural powers and liberation? Mercy replies, enlightened inquiry alone leads to liberation. Supernatural powers are all illusory appearances created by the power of Maya. Self realization, which is permanent, is the only true accomplishment. Accomplishments which appear and disappear, being the effects of Maya, cannot be real. They are accomplished with the object of enjoying fame, pleasure, etc. They come unsought to some persons through their karma. Know that union with reality is the real aim of all accomplishments. This is also the state of liberation known as the union. Question number 11. If this is the nature of liberation, why do some scripture connect it with the body and say that the individual soul can attain liberation only when it does not leave the body? Mercy replies, it is only if bondage is real, the liberation and the nature of its experience have to be considered. So far as the self is concerned, it has really no bondage in any of the four states. As bondage is merely a verbal assumption, according to the emphatic proclamation of the Vedanta system, how can the question of liberation, which depends upon the question of bondage, arise when there is no bondage? Without knowing this truth, to inquire into the nature of bondage and liberation is like inquiring into the non existent height, color, etc. of a barren woman, son of the horns of a hare. Question number 12. If that is so, do not the description of bondage and release found in the scriptures become irrelevant and untrue? Mercy replied, no, they do not. On the contrary, the delusion of bondage fabricated by ignorance from time immemorial can be removed only by knowledge, and for this purpose the term liberation has been usually accepted. That's all. The fact that the characteristics of liberation are described in different ways prove that they are imaginary. Question number 13. If that is so, are not all efforts such as study, listening, and reflection useless? Maharshi, no, they are not. The firm conviction that there is neither bondage nor liberation is the supreme purpose of all effort, as this purpose of seeing boldly through direct experience that bondage and liberation do not exist cannot be achieved except with the aid of the aforesaid practice. These efforts are useful. Question number 14. Is there any authority for saying that there is neither bondage nor liberation? Maharshi replies, this is decided on the strength of experience and not merely on the strength of the scriptures. Question number 15. If it is experienced, how is it experienced? Bondage and liberation are mere linguistic terms. They have no reality of their own. Therefore, they cannot function of their own accord. It is necessary to accept the existence of some basic thing of which they are the modifications. If one inquires for whom is this bondage and liberation, it will be seen they are for me. If one inquires who am I, one will see that there is no such thing as the I. It will then be as clear as an amalgam fruit in one's hand that that what remains is one real being, as the fruit will be naturally and clearly experienced by those who leave aside mere verbal discussions and inquire into themselves inwardly. There is no doubt that all realized persons uniformly see neither bondage nor liberation so far as the true self is concerned. Question number 16. It is truly there is neither bondage nor liberation. What is the reason for the actual experience of joys and sorrows? Maharshi reply. They appear to be real only when one turns aside when one's real nature. They do not really exist. Is it possible for everyone to know directly without doubt what exactly is one's true nature? Undoubtedly, it is possible. Question number 18. How? It is the experience of everyone that even in the states of deep sleep, fainting, etc., when the entire universe moving and stationary, beginning with the earth and ending with the unmanifested Prakriti, disappear. He does not disappear. Therefore, the state of pure being, which is common to all and which is always experienced directly by everybody, is one's true nature. The conclusion is that all experiences in the enlightened as well as the ignorant state, which may be described by newer and newer words, are opposed to one's real nature. So, thank you, my dear friends. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you a lot. Thank you.